I think the next session is we're going to just take a few questions from the audience. If there are any questions for the panelists from the audience, we have a few minutes for questions. I think there should be a mic rolling around. Any questions? Perhaps whilst you're all thinking about something, I can probably pose a question to the panelists. One of the things that you talked about, I think everyone has touched on ESG and how important ESG is in relation to projects and whether it be exploration or actual mining in Africa. Perhaps if you could help us understand how your different organizations are identifying social impact risks and how you're monitoring those matters or issues and how that flows into your decision-making process going forward.
Am I on? Yep. So there's a pretty well-trodden path, certainly in West Africa, for developing a gold project or developing a mine. There's a detailed consultation process that has to be undertaken before you can develop. There's a number of committees, for example, in Burkina Faso that we've got to go through. Yes. We need to have completed an ESIA and a relocation action plan. So there's a number of things that we need to do, and then that process really starts during exploration. So it's usually the exploration companies or geologists who are employing people from the local area first. So the relationship goes back really to the first drill hole. It's really just being a good custodian, having strong relationships, and then that kind of flows through into development.
Yeah, thank you. Are there any other comments in relation to that?
Yeah, look, as Richard said, it's being a custodian. I mean, it starts when you're an exploration company, like we are. Obviously, we don't have the capacity to do the same initiatives that Richard obviously does as a mine site, but it starts from day one, consulting with the local communities, putting programs in place that is essentially going to benefit them going forward. So certainly for us, it's been employment. It's been a big one, a big driver. So making sure that we're training up a local workforce, and certainly our policy has been having 100% local content. So we're not flying expats in and out. We're training up local people, and then just really finding out what they want, what they need, what can help them. And as I said in my presentation, one of the big things for us was education. We found out that we had school kids going to school without textbooks. Yeah. We supplied those.
Thank you for that. Are there any questions from the audience? Questions? There's a question here.
Thanks. This is probably more for Dave Manning than any of the others. Dave? I'm an old school greenie. I'm only 81, but I'm very enthusiastic about carbon reduction, so it's become the obsession of my life. Is there such a thing as a carbon index, for example, for mining operations where you've got a lot of diesel trucks rushing around and carting stuff up and down pits and along roads? Is there any sort of carbon index per, say, like a ton of so many tons of CO2 per dollar of revenue or dollar of profit?
I wouldn't say that there's a detailed index, no.
Would it be a good idea?
It would, yeah. It's certainly something we track, and emissions from operations is something that the mining companies are very close to. So, Richard.
Well, there is in some respects. For a company our size, we have to complete GRI index, which is in the back of our sustainability report. So all major mining companies now would we track our emissions and we report them annually. So if you want a ratio of tonnes of emission by revenue, then take the revenue and divide it by.
So what was that GRA that you mentioned?
GRI.
GRI.
Yeah, GRI index.
Standing for what?
GRI. It's in the back of.
GRI stand for.
Global Reporting Index.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions? I think that's it. It's probably a wrap. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking the panelists. The next session will be question and answer. Sorry, will be a panel on decarbonization, and Dominic Piper will be dealing with that. So, but thank you very much to everyone who's been on the panel. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me.